How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of the Stupid Questions podcast. Today on the pod, we're going to be talking with Mr. Maximilian Sperl, Max Sperl. He's a professional athlete from Germany. Actually recorded an episode with him a number of weeks ago and had an issue where I had to re-record because my internet was so bogus that it cut out all of my audio. So it would have just been like Max talking to a wall, which obviously probably would have been fine, but wanted to make sure that we could have a dynamic conversation. So thanks again to Max for coming on, and without further ado, want to introduce you to Mr. Maximilian Sperl. Where are you at in the Italian mountains, and how long have you been there?
It's a town called Livigno.
Okay.
It's like on the border to Switzerland.
Okay. Nice.
And yeah, I've been here exactly 1 week, but I will be here for another 4 weeks.
Nice, man. So I know that the tour ran through part of Italy this year. Is it anywhere near that?
I think in the beginning they were like near here, but now they are in the Pyrenees, which is close to like the Spanish border between
Yeah.
France and Spain. So yeah. But actually where we live, the one of the stages from the Giro d'Italia finished this year.
Oh, okay, nice. I guess that was
Yeah.
the Giro, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Were you there for that whenever it came through?
No, no. I think that was like already 5, 6 weeks ago. Not sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah. I've been only here for a
Nice.
week. Yeah.
Okay, right on, right on. Well, cool, man. Well, in the intro, I'll have already kind of explained people that we already recorded once, and I want to keep this as fluid and I guess new still because we've already had one conversation, and I don't want to repeat too many questions. So I'm just gonna kind of keep it flowing as best we can. But yeah, first off, just want to thank you again so much for not only taking 1 hour out of your schedule in the past, but now your second hour to record this with me. So thanks for being here, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I think honestly, I just remember we had a really good conversation, but I don't know much about what we actually talked, so I
Yeah,
think we should be good. And there's always
perfect.
something to talk about, so
Yeah, 100%. I guess I'll open it up kind of freely to start. But how have you been lately? How you feeling? What's been new?
yeah, I my last race, which was Challenge Wallsee, I was like sick for a week, and then I tried to race,
Mm,
but actually it was just stupid idea to even like try and race. And then it was always the plan for me to take like kind of a mid-season break after that race,
yeah,
and then go to the mountains and do a full prep in altitude for the second half of the season. Yeah.
yeah. So you're no longer sick. You're working through it. You're enjoying your time in the mountains. Are you there by yourself?
I have one other training mate with me, so yeah, it's not so lonely.
Yeah, 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 for sure. How many days a year do
Yeah.
you think that you spend like apart from home?
Oh, that's hard to say, but I would say probably in total maybe 3 months,
3 months. Yeah,
I would
that's pretty
guess,
big.
or
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more because this year I already been for 6 weeks to camp, and then I went 5 weeks to the US, and now I'm 5 weeks here. So that's already more than 3 months. So more than three
yeah,
months.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty busy. I would guess that you'd probably at least close to half a year with all the things you got coming up and gone on in the past.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably I will be in New Zealand probably for 4 weeks when the World Champs are there.
Yeah,
So yeah, probably close to half a year.
sure. So what are you looking forward to in the second half of the season?
Yeah, the biggest goal for me was always well, the 75 V World Championships in Sao Paulo at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah.
and that's why I try to peak a little bit in the spring, and then have like one or two summer races, and now it's the full focus for the
Yeah.
worlds. And yeah, I think it's, apart from T100, it's probably my only chance to race the best of the best.
Mm.
And so yeah, I want to make sure I'm fit and healthy there. And yeah, it's I think it's a long season because the race is in December. But since it's such a big race, I think uh, I don't have like any problems with like motivation or like yeah.
Yeah. Good. So how do you choose a time when to peak? Is like what does that really mean to you?
Well, I think it's hard to define like when you're peaking, because I'm pretty sure there isn't like a day or like a week period where it's your only chance where you can do your absolute best.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing for me is like get get a good volume of training in, get good quality of training in, be healthy and be happy. I think, and then that's like a good combination for me to like do my absolute best. And I think that I don't well, the sessions I let up to my coach, and I think he knows. We usually work like we set a date and then on the races, and then we work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's like it has too much to do with the specific sessions or whatever. I just try to make sure like I'm in a good place in my mind, and like try and be healthy and like do all the little things, and then I think you can perform on the day that you want.
Yeah. Interesting. So for your typical training blocks, are these like 3 and 4 week builds, and then kind of you pull back 1 week?
Yeah, well, we now we try to do as many weeks as possible in a row without like having to drop down.
Okay.
But that means that when like in the fifth week I'm like totally smashed and I'm tired, and we obviously have to take it easy, because in the past I've just tried to train through it, and then yeah, that's not how you perform a race day.
Yeah.
So now we take a little bit more of a like conservative approach, and like don't do like crazy weeks or crazy sessions, but just build like weeks and weeks and weeks without having to back off and like take it easy for a week or two.
Yeah. How did you come to that realization that you have to listen to your body? Because I think we all say that, and it's become more and more of a popular thing or buzz phrase, like learn how to listen to your body. But how did you learn that concretely? Like, okay, it's time. And I guess what does that feel like for you when you know, like, okay, it's time? Because you said you feel really tired, but is that fatigue only? Is that mentally? Is it both? Like, how does that all fit?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you can't explain why you train really good and you don't perform in races, that's the simplest thing. You're just
Mm.
overtraining. Because like for me in the past, I trained like a lot and hard, and then I was like, oh, I'm super fit, but I already burned so many matches in training that I don't have that little extra when it comes to race day. And so I think it's for me, it just took some time to like realize that I can't just hammer my body and my mind every day and then expect my body to show up on race day. Like
Yeah.
you have to be mindful, and you have to be like careful with your resources, and also mentally, like you can't, because when you're on the edge all the time in training, then how do you expect to like do that little extra or like dig that little deeper in on race day when you're already like emptied all your tanks pretty
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
in training. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's taken me a long time to learn that, and I think for a lot of people, to learn that lesson, because it's always good to feel good in training, because I think oftentimes there's more
Yeah.
reward for doing well in training for your day to day life rather than just doing
Yeah.
well on a race day. Because you do well in a race and it feels great, but it kind of doesn't last as long, and then you need that daily gratification, I
Yeah.
guess, for the
Yeah. You have.
craziness that we do.
Yeah. You have to. You have like it's for me. I think it's also kind of a ego thing.
Mm,
It's like when you feel good, you want to push, but now I'm more like I appreciate like feeling good and like feeling that easy when I push power or whatever. Like in contrast to like pushing it and like going over the limit because I feel good. It's
mm,
more of like appreciating that you feel that good and that like the power or the pace, whatever, feels so easy to you, and then I think that's that little bit that like separates you like on race day when you actually feel good and then you push.
yeah, for sure.
If that makes
So
sense. Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. So with ego, it's interesting that you brought that up. I'm curious, when it comes to race day for you. You get out there and you're coming out of the swim, you're getting on the bike. There's a lot that goes through everyone's mind. There's different strategies that people play. Sometimes it's a mantra. Sometimes it's just trying to quiet the mind, so that they can perform to their best. What do you do when you're going out on the race course to prepare mentally and like during the race? Like, what are you thinking about?
Um, just mm, I think I in the past it was very difficult for me to concentrate like for a whole race, and then I think that's when your mind drifts, and then that's where you even need like mantras or whatever like to pull you back. And now I try to not even get to that place where I need like a pickup or like a mantra or whatever to like get me back on track. So I try to just focus on myself and what I want to execute in the race, and then that's usually helps me to like just stay focused and like not look too much left and right, and not like get into like a negative like headspace or whatever.
Mm.
Just focus on yourself, and there's so much to do like in a race. You have to pace yourself, you have to do nutrition, you have to.
So we were talking about, you're staying focused on yourself. There's so many things that you have to think about and you have to be kind of focused on so that you don't misperform. Have you ever messed up pretty bad on your nutrition?
I don't think I ever nailed my nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
I think that's well, I think that's the biggest thing I can still improve in like since I just transitioned from like short course, because there it was never like up for debate like what you do. You take a job or two and then you're good. Like don't worry about it. But now it's more, yeah, it just has there's more to it. And I just talked to a nutritionist today, and
Mm.
he said like no worry, like I'm not surprised you blew up like after hour three all the time, or not all the time but sometimes, because you're just empty, and we
Mm.
have to figure out a way that you feel more or feel better. And yeah, that's I guess that's next to like the actual training, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle I'll try to figure out now.
Yeah. So what are some of the steps you're taking to get that figured out? Is this eating like outside of training sessions, or is this like a very specific carbs per hour situation within training and this many sodium and
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it's a like I don't think I have a problem with like eating or like fueling on a daily basis and like in my training. It's just like at race intensity,
mm,
um I haven't figured out a way to like get enough carbs, get enough sodium. I actually never took sodium in my life before.
Oh yeah,
So,
wow.
yeah, I just had to figure out that, and then I think because I was always surprised why I couldn't show my run, but now it makes more and more sense.
Yeah.
What why I can't show my run, and yeah, that's probably the biggest part I'm working on right now.
So this is like, have you had a race yet where you've taken sodium?
No,
Wow. So what is your fastest run split off the bike without taking any sodium?
112.
That's like really freaking fast for no sodium in your system. That's crazy, man. So tell me a little. I mean, I think that's going to be huge. So when is your next race, first of all? Because I got to make sure to
Um,
check that out.
yeah, my next race is gonna be end of August, and it will be 17.3 European Championships. It's
Okay.
also like in the Pro Series, and yeah, that's the next big one. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a huge race and a fun opportunity because I feel like you can't literally go wrong. So, with your sodium intake, have you done sweat testing now and figured out how many
Yeah,
milligrams you're going to be taking per liter?
yeah. I did like sweat testing, and we also did another um like oh my God, how do you say that in English? Like when you do like a performance test, and they can figure out how many carbs and how much fat you burn
A
through
metabolic
your breath.
test?
Yeah,
Yeah.
metabolic testing, yeah. So I did all that to figure out like how many carbs I'm burning, how many fats I'm burning, like how much sodium I need or I sweat out, and
Yeah.
yeah, now it's time to work on that and like figure out a way how I can like, because at the end it's not like it's just limit the damage or limit the deficit. It's you're always gonna
You
get
always have
into a
one.
deficit. It's just like limiting that, and yeah, trying to drag it out as
That's
long as
exciting, man.
possible.
Have you had some training sessions where you've taken the right amount of sodium in now and noticed a difference?
Yeah, it just about started last week, so well, it's probably kind of hard because I came here to the mountains and had to adjust the altitude, and um I felt shit the whole week, so I can't
Yeah.
really tell
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
I'm excited to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple more questions on this because I just find it super interesting. What type of like sodium are you going to be taking? Are you using a specific product or are you mixing your own stuff with the
Yeah,
electrolyte?
I'm gonna use I'm sponsored by Sponsor,
Okay, sponsors the
and
company.
they have
Nice.
like little salt tablets, and I think
Okay.
one salt tablet is like 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
And you can put them like you can open them and just put them in a bottle, so you don't have
Yeah.
to like actually take them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the approach I'm trying right now. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest. So I did some sweat testing a few months ago with Precision Fuel and Hydration, and they have these tablets. For me, I sweat like 1,300 milligrams per liter.
Oh,
So
that's a lot.
I'm taking like 1,500 per liter, which is like a 750 milligram tablet per one of these bottles, and it has drastically helped me just in the way that I feel. I haven't necessarily performed that much better on the run yet. Still working through some stuff, but it's huge. I'm really excited to mark my calendar and watch the European champs for you because if you can get some sodium in your system, man, you're gonna feel like $1,000,000 and hopefully run that 106, 105.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm curious to find out, and like yeah, maybe that's the piece of the puzzle that I was missing. And yeah, if it's not that piece of the puzzle, we'll try to find it.
Yeah. Keep working. So, how old are you again, Max?
I'm 27. 29, 8. Sorry.
28, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
I
30,
forget.
32 before too long, and I'm already forgetting. I was in the kitchen the other night, and I was telling someone that I was gonna get ready to turn 31, but I've been 31 for a year now, so that's what happens as we get older,
Well,
right?
I think if you well, once you for us, it's once you turn 18. For you guys, it's like once you turn 21, it doesn't
21.
matter actually.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
kind of completed all the things. You can do anything you want now.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
funny. So let me ask you some more personal questions. We've talked a lot about the sport now, which is really awesome, and I really appreciate you answering with such detail. But I want to know, from your perspective, who is Max?
Um, well, uh, I just enjoy life and enjoy what I do, and I think I'm a really happy person in general. I like what I do. I also like to have people around me happy, and yeah, I think in general just a happy guy. I loves what he does.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll come back to that in a second. I need to ask this question. Do you prefer Max or Maximilian?
Yeah, Max is
Max is
easier and totally fine for me. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a gladiator name or one of this. It's an awesome name.
Yeah.
When I think of that, I think of Gladiator, the movie, and then also there was this movie. What was it called? I can't remember. It's about a boy who goes back home and his grandfather gives him a wine. It's like a romantic comedy, but his grandfather gives him like his whole estate in France of like this beautiful vineyard, and he called him Maximilian when he was a kid. Anyway, yeah, that's probably needless to know on a podcast, but it came to my mind, so why not? So going back to who you are, you're a happy guy. It seems that it's important to you to have friends that also share those similar values and that outlook on life. Where did that come from? Is that nature for you? Is that nurture?
Well, probably a little bit both. I think my mom is really similar, so I probably got something from her. And then I think as a kid I was always happy, and then later in life I think I just realized that life is a lot better when you're happy and like or try to be happy and like surround yourself with people that make you happy. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of a combination.
Yeah. Are you still pretty close with your mom?
Yeah.
Where are they from? Where'd you grow up? Like your mom and dad?
Well, just another town in Germany.
Okay.
I live like now I live like an hour away from where I grew up, so yeah, I haven't come far.
Yeah. What do they think of your pursuits? Was being a triathlete kind of always in the cards, or being an athlete of some sort?
I don't think so. Well, I think they they would let me do anything that I want as long as like I pursue it with yeah with a goal in mind and like whatever makes me happy. Um, I think they would always support that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first athletic sport you came in contact with when you were a kid?
Uh, Obviously soccer because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
German guy.
Yeah.
Every boy in Germany plays soccer. And then I played a little bit of hockey or ice hockey, and then I came into running. Yeah.
Okay. Ice hockey, is that pretty popular in Germany?
Um, well, not like in the US,
Yeah.
but yeah. I think it's still a big sport. Yeah.
Yeah. So with soccer, did you have the dream of becoming a professional soccer player and playing for one of the teams there?
No, not really. Well, as a kid, I spent my whole day after school like on the soccer field, but I never thought about like doing that like as a professional. Yeah, I think it has more like something to do with your friends, and
Mm,
you hang out with your friends, and that happens to be at the soccer field. So yeah.
yeah. Did you, while doing soccer, because there's a lot of running involved, did you start to realize at all like your talent for running?
Well, I realized that I'm slow, and that's probably why I ended up being in endurance sports.
Yeah, yeah. The
Because there was
sprints, you had a harder
guys
time.
faster. Yeah, there was always guys faster than me on the soccer field, but I was the last one still running.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that was in the early stages. That was when I realized I might be okay at endurance sports.
Yeah. So how old were you when you made that transition from, I guess, kind of the everyday playing soccer guy to getting into competitive running?
When I was like 13, 14 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, about that time. Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? Were you really into it? Was this a decision that you wanted to do on your own, or was this in part from the influence of friends or family?
Oh, yeah. I think both. My mom was always running, and we were like in a running club. And then yeah, I also really quickly found some friends there, and then we had like a yeah, like good group there. And I think yeah, then I actually pursued it like really strongly, I would say. Yeah.
What were your goals, I guess, and your aspirations at that point when you started to take it really seriously? Like, where did you want to go with running?
Well, I don't think I had like too many goals. Like I was just enjoying. I would guess I was enjoying training more than racing, because that's when we like were like in our group, and like
Mhm.
we yeah, we're just training and like having fun. And I think I did it more for like the training and like hanging out with the guys I like. Um and yeah, the races came like with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I had necessarily like too big of a goals or like specific goals that I wanted to like pursue. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem like a pretty chill guy. It doesn't seem like it seems like it would be difficult to get you super excited or super angry about something. Like you seem pretty mellow toned, like pretty stable. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, but I think it also um got I I, I don't want to say like it got better over time, but I think like as I got older, I think I got like more level and like more like, because like as a kid, like also with stuff like I always wanted to win, and that
No,
was really bad, because
really.
I could flip really fast if like something wasn't going my way, or like I wasn't winning. Or
Hmm.
that was also very difficult for me in soccer, because I was giving like 150%, and if I noticed that someone's only giving 80%, I would get so mad. And I think that's why I ended up in like an individual sport, because it's all up to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting introspective, I guess, understanding. So, what happened as you got older that made you be a little bit more calm in your resolve?
I think just the realization that it doesn't do anything if you flip all the time.
Yeah.
It just costs a lot of energy. It makes people angry. It makes you angry, and it doesn't make anything different.
Do you remember the
So
last
like
time? Oh, sorry.
think about it first, and then like assess a little bit the situation, and then if it's still bad, then you can maybe say a strong word or two. But like Well, but like in general, like it doesn't make any sense to like go up and down because like when you flip and you go up, like you're gonna fall as well. So
Mm,
it's a constant up and down, and yeah, I think it's just yeah, it's a waste of energy, honestly.
yeah, think before you act and think before you speak. Those are
Yeah,
two lessons I'm still trying to figure out. My wife, especially think before you act. She's one to remind me that that's what I need to work on. It's not easy, especially
yeah,
for us passionate individuals. So
no,
it sounds like you are pretty passionate about winning
yeah,
and doing well.
yeah. It's hard to learn, but I think especially like in professional sports, you have to learn that because of course, like in some way, um it can help when you are like thinking really extreme or like act like very emotional. In some ways, it can obviously help performance as well. But like most of the time, I think it just helps like having your mind and your thoughts like level and like in the right place and like also can control them and control your emotions and your thoughts
Hmm.
and yeah, just sort them before you speak or you act or whatever.
Yeah. So, when is the last time you remember getting really angry?
Well, yeah, when I had to drop out in my last race, but I was like more angry about myself because I was trying to convince myself that it's a good idea to race.
Mm,
Um, and my coach said I don't think it's a good idea. My girlfriend said I don't think it's a good idea. And I was yeah, I was just angry honestly at myself. But I don't think I like flipped or like yeah, totally
lost
totally
it.
over yeah, lost it. But yeah, that was yeah, probably the last time, yeah.
Yeah. So, what were you hoping to accomplish from that race? Because you obviously knew you were sick. You had like your wise friends, girlfriend, coach saying, it's probably not a good idea. What were you hoping the outcome from the outcome, I guess?
Well, I trained really good before and the last few days before the race I could actually train like normal, but like race situations are so different to a normal life or normal training.
Mm,
And like honestly at the end if I would have raced like really good, we would never ever talk about it again. Like everything would be fine and like but yeah, I was just I think I was still convinced that I can race well, but like deep down I knew that probably I'm not 100% healthy and it's
mm.
um yeah, just yeah, wasn't yeah, it's just like in sports, it's just I would guess shit timing.
Yeah. Do you think that you'd be tempted to race again if you're feeling the same way and you're getting that same advice?
No, because it's you have to learn your lesson, and sometimes you have to learn it the hard way, and I did. So yeah, that would be really stupid to do the same mistake again.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
done that, so
Yeah, yeah, it's
uh,
just maybe sometimes you have to do a mistake twice to actually learn, but after that you should know. That that's also I think part of like being level and being mindful and being like just aware of what's going on that you can like reassess situations and then think about them and then make wise decisions.
mm,
If you're led by your emotions and whatever all the time, then you're gonna make so many mistakes 100 times.
yeah, self-awareness is really key. I think for me it becomes really difficult when the the mistakes that I'm making, the ones that are repetitive, are oftentimes tied to some kind of an emotional desire or an emotional feeling where for example, I'll use relationship for example, I've been married now for 7 years, and my wife and I will come to an impasse typically about, I don't know, it doesn't even really matter. We'll come to some type of an impasse, and it's generally not because we disagree, but it's because I'm thinking about it in one way and she's thinking another, and what I'm feeling feels so real and so right, and being convicted in one's own heart of ourself thinking that we're right is just such a powerful thing, because that's when I make that same mistake over and over and over, and I end up coming back, oh honey, I'm so sorry, I've made this mistake. Have you ever been there before?
Yeah, totally. I can totally understand.
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned that. So from now on, I'm going to try to only keep it to 2 times that I mess up, and then the third time
That's
we're going to learn that lesson. So
yeah.
triathlon, in the beginning, when did triathlon become a part of your life? Because you said you started to take running seriously. You obviously liked running competitively. It was fun.
Yeah, I started swimming when I was 16, so pretty late. Um, but yeah, in my run group there was one guy that already did triathlon, and then yeah, he convinced me a little bit. I think I also had like a little injury, and I got a road bike, and then he convinced me to do a triathlon, and then from there on I was pretty much yeah, fixed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was like like make a clear decision or whatever. I think it just was like a natural process for me.
Yeah. So it's been 11, 12 years now that you've been involved in the sport. What about the sport means so much to you? I mean, because obviously you're still doing it. It's a big piece of your life. It requires a lot of travel. I mean, your girlfriend is also a professional triathlete. You live and breathe this. What is it that triathlon adds to your life that keeps you going?
I think it's two things. It's one, just the lifestyle, and like be like, well, I don't think it's necessarily like the way we do it is like super healthy lifestyle, but um just the lifestyle of like being outside, training, and yeah, eating good food, and like, yeah, just that part of it. And then the other part is also just um finding out where my limit is, and like um yeah, just progressing, and like yeah, trying to get better every day. And I think that also gives well, people always talk about like a purpose in life, but I think that also, like for me, I guess that's my purpose in life, at least for right now.
Hmm. Yeah, I think similarly, it it adds a lot of value, at least into my life, because I think of the discipline aspect. It requires of me to structure my day in such a way that, sessions are usually morning and evening, or maybe sometimes during lunch. But it requires us to go to sleep at a good hour, to treat our bodies as best we can, especially when it comes to eating, which makes a huge difference. Except unless you're like in a 6-hour training session, I think everybody eats junk whenever you're doing those super long sessions and stuff, because you're burning it immediately. But yeah, it adds a lot to me. I think for me, biking is one of the greatest pieces of the sport. Obviously, we spend most of our time on the bike, but being able to go and be free out in nature, because we drive a lot as humans, and you can see the world as you're driving. But when you slow down, going 15, 20 miles an hour, it gives a whole different perspective to just the beauty that we have around us. No matter, I mean, you're in the Italian mountains, I'm sure, like, it's just
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous, and you're just soaking all that in, right?
yeah. I don't think it gets any better than when the weather is good, but I don't think it
Yeah.
gets any better than here. Yeah, and it's so easy for me to like go out and train 6 or 7 hours a day, because it's like it's crazy because you only have a few roads here, and mostly, unless you do more than 5 hours, you can only ride out and back because there's mountains all around you.
Hmm.
And But like I'm I was here like almost 6 weeks last year, and even in the last week I was never bored. I was never like, oh my God, I have to go again on this mountain.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's crazy when you look around, and yeah, like you said, like on the bike or even like running, it's when you slow down a little bit and just appreciate like what's around you, you can yeah, well, yeah, that's just more, what do you say, like uh yeah, you appreciate it just more than like driving around or being in a rush like in your daily life.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said about being able to appreciate things and find thankfulness in what we're able to do. I think it often tells a lot about a person if you ask them what they're thankful for. So I'll ask you that question. What are three things that you're just really thankful for?
Um, Being healthy,
Yeah.
um, being able to do what I want right now, just having that freedom to do whatever I want, and then also having people around me that make me happy.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the key people around your life. First, starting, I guess, with your girlfriend, because she's also a professional triathlete, right?
Yes, yeah, she is. Yeah, she's probably my go-to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been together for uh, I don't want to say anything wrong, 12 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's yeah, the most important person, and usually always there unless I'm at camp and she's not.
Yeah.
Or we do different races. But we spent a lot of time together, so yeah. Um, and then obviously my family, and then also like I I have like one friend that I know for 25 years now. So and still having like him around, and like yeah, like having a close relationship that yeah is something I'm really grateful for. Yeah.
Yeah. So having a friend that long is, I think a lot of us have friends maybe for that long, especially as we get older. But having a really close friend, knowing them for that long is, I would say, a bit more rare. And I know some people struggle with like finding good friends. I think that's one thing that's impressive that you told me about yourself in the beginning is, you're generally a happy person. You like being around happy people. So my question is, for someone who maybe doesn't have the best friend group and they're struggling to find good friends, what kind of characteristics, and maybe even some advice on like how to find those good friends, what would you say to that?
Well, I think it's hard because uh well, I think most important is like finding someone that doesn't necessarily like pursue the same goal or whatever, but like in general like walks the same direction as you, if that makes sense. Like but it's hard if you are in like if you're in a bad place, or you don't have like a purpose, or you yeah, you're just a little have like a rough patch or whatever in your life. It's hard to even like um yeah, find that. But yeah, I think for me it's important that friends or people walk the same direction as me, and like in general yeah, act like in life like I would do, maybe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So walking, you said something that was interesting to me. You said like that they walk in a similar direction as you. Um, I come from like a more religious background, and there's this concept of marrying someone or being partners with someone who is what they say equally yoked. Like that's a biblical verse, meaning that their belief systems, their values, their just the way that they carry themselves is similar to you, because like that's who you can mix well with, and you share the same values. Obviously, you're going to have less conflict. For you, when you're talking about walking in a similar path, what exactly does that mean to you? Do you have qualifications for your friends in terms of like their values department, or is it more of just like they're going in life with like this attitude of, yeah, I'm gonna maybe be a professional triathlete, or I care about fitness? How specific are you with those things?
Well, I don't think it has to do something with sport, but just like having that motivation to pursue something they're passionate about. Like the same
Yeah.
I do. It doesn't have to do anything with triathlon or with sports. Like if you have if you have a job that you're passionate about and you're motivated and you wanna get better and you wanna like get further, then yeah, I think that's the values I would like look for.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that your girlfriend of 12 years holds all of these values.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
for your girlfriend, what is her name?
Annabelle, no.
Annabelle. Annabelle Knoll.
Yeah.
So for Annabelle, she's also a professional triathlete, and that means that you guys, while I wouldn't say you're inherently selfish people, you have very selfish schedules, and that you have to train a lot. You have to be very specific, to how you treat your body. You go to different training camps. I would imagine that it's not, it doesn't make it easy all the time to like have those types of needs and things that you have to service. So what are some of the pros and some of the cons of, or some of the hard things of being in a relationship with another professional athlete?
Well, I don't think there's anyone better that understands why you have to do things a certain way. And um, I think it's really hard to understand when you're not that deep into like sports. So um, I think, yeah, it's like if I tell her I have to go to altitude for 5 weeks because I want to perform at European champs, then, well, that's not up for debate.
Yeah.
That's just the fact that then it is what it is. Um, and then like I would say like pros are um, you can do still a lot together. I mean, what that we can still like train, not the specific stuff, but most of the stuff we can train together.
Mm.
And I think we both share the same passion, and doing that together is like a big pro. But also on the other side, I think you just experience all the positive and the negative emotions. You experience like twice as hard, I would say. Like
Yeah.
if someone has a bad race or has a rough patch or whatever, you feel for the other person more than you would, I guess, otherwise. So yeah, I think yeah, it's sometimes it's a good it's good, but if something goes wrong or something is negative, then you'll you obviously like you feel that double because you're so close to the other person.
Hmm. So right now you seem to be having like a pretty good patch, I would say. Like you're enjoying the Italian mountains. You just figured out some of your strategy for taking in sodium. Things are looking up. You've got the championship race coming up soon. You have qualified for the world's 70.3 worlds already, correct? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So you had that for you. So things are going really good, pretty good for you right now. How are things going for Annabelle?
Well, she had like a really good year 2021, 2022 when she went to Tokyo, and then she's racing short course, so she had like a really good she had really good results, couple of top 10, couple of top 6 in WTS. So right at the front end. And then yeah, since then like last year, and it was like tough for her because she was a lot like either sick or injured.
Mm.
And now she starts to feel like it was still a little bit rough through the winter, but now it's slowly coming back. And yeah, I think just having also another person there, because I think there's no one better that can understand. Like I was like understanding her situation all the time because I've been there as well. So just having like I don't want to give myself too much credit, but just having me on her side and helping her through that dash, just I think makes her now like finally see the end of the tunnel, and yeah, she's
Mm.
getting better results again and finding the old level and like finding enjoyment in training and in racing. And yeah, I think we're on the right path.
Good. That's super exciting to hear. Is she like you guys pretty much the same age?
Oh yeah, she's 1.5 years younger, but
Okay.
yeah, pretty much the same age.
Relatively close.
Yeah,
And is
yeah.
she gonna be thinking that to move over toward like the middle distance racing eventually?
I'm trying to push her because I think
Yeah.
she could be really good at it, but
Yeah.
I don't. She wants to, because she obviously didn't qualify for Paris this year, and she wants to do another Olympic cycle until LA.
Yeah.
And yeah, but different to me, she also has like the same goals or the same pursuit in her academics.
Mm.
So yeah, she wants she has already finished her masters, and now trying to we're now trying to find a place for her where she can get her doctorate degree
Wow. What is
as well.
she
So
pursuing her
yeah,
doctorate in?
biology.
Wow. So does she want to be like
Yeah.
what specifically within biology?
She really wants to like to do something with oceans and like
Marine
underwater.
biology?
Yeah, yeah, marine biology. And yeah, but that's still up for yeah, trying to figure out right now.
Yeah. Wow, good for her. That's really amazing. Um
Yeah.
Maybe you could move to somewhere eventually like Hawaii and you can train on the islands and she can work in all the oceans. That wouldn't be a bad place. Have you ever been there?
No, never.
Oh man, you got to
Well,
go.
yeah, we won't go. Yeah,
Yeah,
ideally
check it.
for a big race.
Yeah. Yeah, Kona.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that whole island chain. There's so much to do, but I'll just put this plug in there because I got to do it once and it was amazing. The island of Maui, it's a few down. There's this place called Haleakala, and you can start off at the beach on your bike and climb up all the way to the top of the island, the summit of Haleakala, which is like an old volcano. And I think it's like 10 or maybe 11,000 feet in just under like 29 miles. It's the second longest paved ascent in the world, and it's absolutely amazing. So she can go do stuff in the ocean, be doing some research, and you can go do that for the day, and it'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So let me ask you just a couple more questions. So triathlon has been a part of your life now for, like you're saying, around 12 years. That's a big chunk of your life, and you've obviously dedicated all of that you are to this pursuit of obviously the lifestyle and things like that. If something were to happen to you tomorrow where, I don't know, you had a bad accident and you couldn't run and bike anymore, or something prevented you from doing this sport professionally, would you be okay? Would you know where you could like go to pursue another lifestyle and figuring out what to do professionally?
Well, I guess it will be obviously like a big shock or whatever, and a big
Yeah.
change. But I think, yeah, I always said like if after my career I get like a normal job or whatever, I would 100% pursue it the same way, and like yeah, just find something I'm passionate about and find find a way to like pursue it 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. Do you think that you might, like after you do graduate, I guess we could say, or retire from the sport of triathlon as a professional racing, do you think that you'd want to still be involved in the sport in any way?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I think when you when you're when you've been so long in the sport, there's obviously some things you learned and maybe some things you can pass on to other people and maybe like or like give value to other athletes or to other yeah, or just like I would also be very motivated, I guess, to like work in the industry itself, because I think that's like a great combination because it's the sport I love and in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of yeah, similar thinking people probably. So yeah.
Would you consider yourself at all to be somewhat of an entrepreneur? Like, would you ever want to start something?
Um yeah, well, I guess as a professional athlete, you're a one man business anyway. So
Hmm.
um I think yeah, you have to have entrepreneur uh or an entrepreneur way of thinking
Yeah.
anyway. So yeah.
What is the hardest part of that pursuit? Because I think it's become more and more prevalent nowadays that it's almost like an unspoken requirement that professional athletes, professional triathletes, have the Instagram, have the good looking pictures and the videos, and then sponsors want you to talk about their product, and there's just so many things that are required of you guys. What do you think the hardest part is of that whole sphere? And what do you think that maybe we could all do as a collective community to help build up and make that a little bit easier?
Well, I think the hardest part is just because training a lot and doing your training is easy, but doing all the things around that you have to do, like you said, um talking to your sponsors, finding new sponsors, do doing your taxes, doing all that stuff, and then also like working on Instagram and like yeah, that's also something that because I was in short course and it was well, I wouldn't say it wasn't like required, but it was just a lot easier to find like sponsors and get money without
Hmm.
like doing all that stuff. And now, since I went to longer distances, it's more like your own show or your own business. And yeah, I'm still learning, and I have learned through the past year, and it's also something that I didn't want to do in the beginning, and I learned to enjoy and like pursue with the same passion as I do my daily training.
Yeah. Good for you. Good answer. Awesome. Well, Max, thank you so much for jumping on again, and especially when you're in the middle of the beautiful Italian mountains. You could be outside. You came in here to record, so I really appreciate you taking the time again, and all the best to you again on your big race that's coming up for the European Champs, and then obviously for the World Championship. Hoping that the sodium fixes a whole multitude of bonking issues, and you have an amazing race and an amazing rest of your season.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Talking to you, and yeah, I'll hope we see each other on the course someday.
We will. I for sure in December. I'll be in Tupelo. I gotta buy all of the rest of my flights and stuff, but we have our lodging. I have a place right where the race venue, so maybe we'll have to hang out.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you so much to Max for coming on the pod and sharing a bit about his life and all the things that he is learning from relationships to racing. It's cool experience to hear about somebody who is performing at the level that he is and is also just still figuring out things that I would have thought were things that we should all figure out a little sooner. Nothing against him, but the whole sodium thing, the fact that he ran or has run a 112 off the bike with no sodium is just wild to me, especially and knowing how much sodium I have to take. So such a cool thing. I guess what I'll leave you with here in the end is a little bit of advice from him that he left on basically how to make sure you surround yourself with good friends and good people. When I asked him about that, it's essentially, I think, is what he was saying is what you exude, what you exemplify is what you attract. So try to be a good person and you will attract good people. I think it's simple as that. If you made it to this point in the podcast, though, just want to say thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here, for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, do anything you can to help share this podcast on any platform, whether that's YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is. I really appreciate all of the things that you can do to help get the word out there. And thank you for your reviews. If you want to check out our website, you can do that at thestupidquestions.show, and you can also find us on Instagram, where we post lots of reels daily. All right, thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.